Okay, let's start the session. I would like to thank everybody for joining, and probably will hear a few more things along the way. So my name is Dan.Trajman, and I am the President and CEO of New England Israel Business Council. And I would like to thank you and panelists and the moderator for joining us. Let me spend a few words about NEIBC. NEIBC is a not-for-profit organization. It stands for New England Israel Business Council, and its mission in the world is to strengthen the business relationship between Israel and particularly Massachusetts, but in many cases we expand into New England and sometimes to North America. Before I hand over the microphone to the moderator, I'll give you a data point. I was surprised also to research and finding out that exactly 198 wellness companies exist in the wellness ecosystem in Israel. And truly it's not a surprise because, you know, with the typical technologies of big data, AI, machine learning, communication, imaging, it's just apparent that those kind of companies will blossom in Israel as well. So today we'll hear from 3 Israel-related companies. And without further ado, I'll ask Amir Tzur, our moderator, to start the session and introduce himself as well. So Amir, the talking stick is yours.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you for inviting me. And hello, everyone. I will introduce myself briefly, and then we can start diving into our webinar. So my name is Amir Tzur. I'm the head of products at Takeda Pharmaceuticals. In my background, I'm an engineer. And during my career, I led various breakthrough technologies into the market from the idea until mass production. So I wanted to bring my experience to one of the most important domains in our life, health. I worked at Teva for the past 6 years, and I led the first of its kind digital drug as a smart inhaler. This was a revolutionary product which is changing the way we see treatment with technology out of a pharma company. So this was product beyond the drug. But when we are talking about beyond the drug, we should also take into account other dimensions rather than digital, such as our overall wellness, emotional, spiritual, our diets, our day-to-day life, quality of life. So how can we have a real change in our life using technologies beyond the pill throughout the other not less important domains and move ourselves into healthcare rather than a sick care? So we have with us today 3 great entrepreneurs which are working to solve this problem and change our life, and we'd like to hear from them. We have Omri Yoffe, Dr. Gil Blander, and Rachel Yarkoni. And we would like to give each of them between 10 and 15 minutes to present and introduce themselves and the company, and to answer some questions. And then at the end, hopefully we have some more time to answer your questions, and I'm sure you will have plenty of them. And thank you, Dan, for inviting us and arranging this event. And let's start. I guess that we can start with Omri, with the V. The stage is yours.
Thank you. So Dan, if you can, if either you or Amir stop sharing the screen, and I will share mine.
I believe you can.
Yeah, I still can't. It says that I need the, you guys need to stop yours.
Yeah, I think Dan, you're still sharing your screen.
Mm-hmm.
Sharing my screen. How the hell I stop it? Here it is.
Yeah,
Perfect.
now we got it.
All right. Perfect. So hello, everyone. My name is Omri Yofe, and great to connect with everyone. I will share my personal story today in super short and mainly discuss a company called V, what we call an enterprise AI for digital health, a company that is focused in the last years on serving tens of millions of people and basically helping them get into healthier lifestyles. Three main topics. I'll start with a quick background, a little bit about a specific passion. I'm part of a project called Rakia, which is more on the social domain, and we'll invest most of the time on V Labs as mentioned. So we'll start with the first one. My name is Omri, born and raised in Israel, living in New York and now Jersey Tenafly in the last 6 years. In my personal background, I'm an Israeli Air Force veteran pilot. I spent actually part of my service in the US, bringing some platforms to the US and to Israel from the US, I'm sorry. And from 2008 to save your time with the, not to waste your time with too many details, building and running tech companies, very passionate about the aerospace domain, space and aviation, and also the healthcare space. So that's pretty much it. Happy to answer more questions if needed later on. One of my main personal passions is a leadership academy called Rakia, which we're basically working in the last 2 years. Per Dan and Amir's advice, I'm still sharing it here in a little bit more details, which is basically we took the Air Force best values and best practices and basically translated it into building the future leadership of Israel. With 2 programs, what you guys probably know, it's called Mechina Dan.Trajman. It's like a pre-IDF service that we are equipping the best talent in Israel from all genders, religions, and layers to basically get the best tools to get into a very meaningful IDF service. And afterwards, basically an impact accelerator, a spin-off in some projects within the social community in Israel. So done with our, if you guys can please move into a mute. Thank you. So V's mission is delivering powerful digital products to help people at all ages live healthy and active. More specifically, we use AI, artificial intelligence, in a very unique way to help the best enterprise in the world. It can be guys like United Healthcare, the largest gyms in the world, Bowflex, if you guys know, home connected devices, wearables, nutrition companies like Stronger You. We basically come to those guys, connect to their data, and help them to provide people a very personalized and effective health and fitness journey, eventually getting better health outcomes and better business results as a result out of it. The way we do it, we have 3 main products. The first one is called V-Engage. Again, keeping it super simple. So we're talking about an artificial intelligence tool that can live within any type of service. It can be a doctor, a nurse, a nutritionist, a coach that is providing health and fitness program from afar. Obviously, after COVID, this has became a very common thing around the world and US mainly. And basically, we're helping them to identify the most relevant users that needs help, what they should send and how they should treat each single user. They can automate different things, eventually resulting in much more effective and personalized experiences. The second product is called V-Trainer. And I'm sure you guys are familiar with products like Siri and Alexa. So we basically built the first Siri and Alexa called V. So if today you will jump on Bowflex device or you will download an app on V, you will hear a coach calling you your personal name. So if your name is David, you will say, "Hey, David, good morning. I remember what we did last session. Today, I recommend to do X, Y, Z, and we'll hold your hand throughout your workout and between workouts as well." And the last piece is called V-Play, a gamification platform. And so basically, we're connecting to your Health Kit or Google Fit. So if you have a phone, an Android phone or iOS, so it's a product that is using your steps, your workouts, your sleep, your nutrition, basically converting it into a game that you can have your own avatar and own screens, focused on more younger ages, people that more like casual games and social games. I was asked to keep it simple. So in super simple, we have tons of data, 100 terabytes. It means a lot. And we are serving tens of millions of users, mainly in the US, again, using our enterprise customers. So we're getting their data daily and responding back with recommendations what to do with each user. This is how the vEngage tool looks like. So as you see in the left part, basically doctors, coaches, nutritionists, nurses, mental coaches, any person that is providing digital coaching remotely or digital care are getting this very simple tool. On the left part, they can see who are the users that they need to speak with today with specific symptoms or issues. And on the right part, they can test different types of sequences and interventions to make sure that they are the most effective. And the result is personalized experience. The result is they're getting text messages, pre-recorded videos, and digital content that is targeted for them to get healthier. This is the example of the vCoach. Again, keeping it super short. So imagine that you're in front of a screen or in your earphones, and there's a coach seeing exactly what you do over time. And V will use your name, your goal, your real-time metrics. She will make jokes and almost like a companion, health and fitness companion that helps you work out over time. And lastly, this is the vPlay example, again, connecting to your Health Kit and Google Fit and taking your steps, workouts, sleep and nutrition and translating it. You have your own avatar and you can make progress over time. I'm not able to share specific customer names. Give me 2 seconds, please. But what I can share is some numbers. So we're very proud as an Israeli company to grow from the beginning of 2020 to today to more than 10 million users. We are growing over 150% consecutively, which is very high number per year. And we became profitable last June. And just on the personal level, we basically have a team. The R&D team is in Israel and the business team is here. But we are definitely proud to have a very interesting mix between Israeli and American talent, and happy to answer some questions. How do we operate and how do we create this joint culture? But the company is basically, those are the business results, but most important, helping tens of millions of users around the world to get healthier daily. So that's pretty much it. Happy to answer any questions on my personal background, Rakia or VLabs.
Thank you, Omri, for the great presentation. We have a few more minutes, so we can either you can write your questions in the chat, or you can just speak out loud, whatever you prefer. I have some questions as well, but let's see if we have something from the audience first. And we will have more time at the end of the webinar today to ask more questions, the team. And yeah, someone mentioned if you can mute yourself if you're not speaking, so we can have a better, clear conversation. Thank you. So one question, Omri, that I'm very excited to learn about: how do you acquire new users and how do you keep them engaged to the platform? Usually many users will be very excited starting with a new product. The challenge is how to keep them engaged and get it as part of their daily life.
Definitely, and it's actually one of our most critical challenges and questions. So I would split it into two. From a go-to-market level, we are a pure technology company, meaning we have basically zero marketing budget. And what we do is we grow through enterprises. We're trying to focus on the most scalable and large-scale enterprises. I gave some examples earlier. It can be the largest gyms in the world, the largest healthcare providers, the largest nutrition or mental coaching. And we sign contracts with them, and through their channels, through their distribution channels, we're able to get to millions of users per customer. So that's go-to-market. And number two, Amir, is the way, what we understood over the last few years, that we're not prophets. We do not know what each user needs, because it's like health and fitness, it's a very subjective thing. And what we built is a system that is basically testing and iterating what works on, it's very similar to Facebook marketing, but for like a better cause, if you will. So we're testing interventions and sequences between cohorts. And once we see that someone that is similar to you likes something, I'm using it for you as well. It's called lookalike in the marketing world. And we do the same for the health and fitness programs.
I see. Yeah, thank you, Omri. Is there any other questions to Omri from the audience? Okay, you can think about it in the meantime, but I have another question for you, Omri. So if you can tell us a little bit about data collection and how do you make sure to bring evidence back to the users or to the channels about the benefit of this platform?
So first of all, privacy for us from day one was probably the biggest concern and the biggest, I would say, became almost a value within the company. Not almost, it is like it's a leading factor in everything we do. And we defined two main rules for it. First, we don't need what we call PHI. We build a technology that doesn't need to know the connection between your personal name and your health information. And what we tell our partners, we just need an ID. Just give us an ID of a person. We don't need to own the customer. And we're going to get back to you with the right recommendation of what we should do, number one. And number two is we basically do lots of penetration tests and many other things just to help us to make sure that even beyond if it's anonymous data, we are being super secured and basically challenging ourselves beyond the regular, if you guys know HIPAA and HITRUST, there are lots of some regulations in the US. So we're trying to be our own certification, if you will, to go above and beyond in terms of privacy.
Yeah, thank you. Probably privacy and data is part of all of our concerns.
Big time.
In a way, yeah, also in talking about pharmaceutical company or using personal data, health data, whatever we use, we need to keep it safe and also to bring it back to the patient with additional value.
How does the end customer pay for the service? I mean, and how much is it or per person? I'm talking the end customer, not your contracts with the big institution.
So it really varies. Our business model is super straightforward. We get SaaS, software as a service, fixed fee based on volume of users that are using the system. So if I go to United Healthcare, for example, they do a very basic math. If we can help them retain and engage with its users, will it be worth for them to pay our SaaS? And to your question, it varies. For some, if it's United Healthcare, they're getting reimbursed by Medicare or other parts by the government. If it's Peloton, Bowflex, or Stronger You for nutrition, they have subscription that are paying anywhere between $50 to $100 a month for your digital health program. So we don't dictate how the end customer will pay. We tell our customers, do your math, and we show them a basic table because we know their product. And when we tell them, if we're able to increase your engaged user by 5-7%, you're going to get 3 times than what you're going to pay us for SaaS. We do a pilot, they test us versus without using our technology. And once they see it works, they pay us for like a 12-month service. Let me know if that's straightforward and clear enough.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I think that we are right on time. So 15 minutes for this.
Amir,
yeah?
Shelley raised her hand.
Okay, so let's go with another last question for this part.
Okay. My name is Shelley Buckler. I'm very impressed with what you have done and what you're doing.
Thank you, sir.
I want to tell you that I'm an elderly person. I'm over 90 years old. I'm in reasonably good health. Mm-hmm. And I'd like to take advantage of your technology. My problem is I am not very technology, sophisticated. Yeah. It's true, I have many grandchildren who are, and they do come to see me occasionally, but what I'm thinking about, and this is the core of my question, Omri, is how do I get started in something like this? And then I
That's,
can get you to help me, you know? You understand?
Yeah, I more than understand. I can tell you I failed to answer this question in the first 2 years. I won't waste your time, but we tried in many ways and we saw how hard it is to do exactly what you did, regardless to age, by the way. So today you can experience in 2 very simple ways. The first, without getting into customer name, we serve today multiple seniors programs. And the way we do that is we provide the technology I've mentioned to programs that are designated and specialized in providing services to users and specifically users, the seniors as well. And the interesting part is the human element. We saw that sometimes our technology can advise, for example, an engagement specialist, someone that will call you. So Shelly, for example, the impact you'll get, someone will be able to monitor if you have, for example, a blood pressure monitor in your home, just as an example. You just need to keep using it. What our technology will do, it will trigger a human to call you in the right time with the right content, with the right advice. Either you didn't use it, or you want a recommendation to go outside and do some steps or to eat something. So basically, we serve all type of programs, including ones that are more simplified, and you don't need to worry about it. They get the recommendation exactly how to approach you based on your demography and based on your limitations. And we haven't been there. We started from B2C, pure like saying everyone are going to use the tech, and we understood that we need to work with this B2B2C, business to business to customer approach.
Yeah, thank you, Omri, and thank you, Shelly. This was a very important question. I think that we are dealing with this question, how to reach as much of different populations to use the platform and to gain from that. So
definitely,
it was really important. So thank you, Omri, for the great presentation. And now we can go to Gil. The stage is yours, Gil.
You. Thank you. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me try to make it full screen.
Yeah. Now it's in the presentation mode.
Okay, excellent. So my name is Gil Blander, and I'm the founder and chief scientific officer of a company that's called Inside Tracker. So the goal of Inside Tracker is to be the leader in personalized human performance, guiding people everywhere to live healthier and longer lives. How do we do that? Just a second. Inside Tracker offers consumer a clearer and more holistic picture than they've ever had of what's going on inside their body. We empower consumers with actionable nutrition and lifestyle guidance that derive from their unique blood work, DNA, fitness tracker data, and other to give them a very holistic view of their body, and then allow them to intervene. Let me see. Okay, so a bit about the company. Currently we have around 65 full-time time employees or equivalent. The company is located in Cambridge. We see a high growth specifically with our D2C. We have seen so far this year more than 3x growth in direct to consumer. And also we have a unique value proposition because this company is not very new. I started it in 12 years ago, and we have a lot of history in research and development of science and proprietary AI engine and algorithm. We also have the first product that combine data from blood, DNA, and fitness tracker to give you a really holistic view of your body, and based on that, give you some recommendations. So about my story, so Israeli background, was born and raised in actually Afula, Israel, which is a very small town in Israel. I done my PhD at the Weizmann Institute of Science, and then moved to MIT to do my postdoctoral fellowship on aging in 2002. When I moved to MIT, I started to be exposed to the biopharmaceutical environment of Kendall Square, and realized that I can contribute more to the humanity if I will start my own company. than being a professor in the academia that might publish one paper a year. So I started the company in 2009, and again, the idea is to help people to live longer, better life based on what's happening inside their body. I want to add that I'm also a founder of a non-profit organization that's called Science Abroad. It's an organization that helping scientists, Israeli scientists abroad, to be connected to Israel and also to help them to move back to Israel if they want to. This organization is currently pretty big. We have 3,000 members, tens of centers all over the world, and we are having a partnership with Misrad HaKlita and Misrad HaMada and all the universities in Israel. Okay, so what are the problems that InstaTracker is solving? The first problem is, what does my body look like from the inside? Nobody knows. I can tell you that we are working with professional athletes that looks amazing from the outside, but when you look inside, you suddenly realize that they have a lot of issues inside, but nobody knows without looking inside. The second one is, how do I establish a baseline and measure progress? It's very rare that people are looking inside and basically understanding what's happening in their body, but then continue to look at that and basically make some intervention. Because most of us going to the physician when we are feeling bad, but it's only fixing the body that is broken, and it's not taking care of your body and helping you to optimize it. And then the last one is, how do I know who to trust and what action to take? So all of our recommendations are science-based. Each recommendation is backed by a peer-reviewed scientific publication that each user can click on and read the paper if he want to. So what are the customers that we are currently serving? Currently, we are helping endurance performance, strength performance, and life performers to reach their goal. And if you look at the user journey for InstaTracker, it starts from knowledge. So basically, we are transforming your data into a holistic picture of what's going on inside your body. Then we are giving you insight based on your blood, DNA, and fitness tracker data. We're also giving you an optimal range, not just normal range. So if, for example, you go to your physician and he tests your glucose, he will tell you that the normal range is 65 to 99. Doesn't matter if you are young or old, male or female, athletic, active, or a couch potato, a monk, or drinking alcohol like crazy, all of you receive the same ranges. So we develop an optimal range for you based on your age, gender, ethnicity, and so on. We're also giving you something that's called inner age, which is basically a way to understand what is your age based on what's happening inside, and not just because you have been born in a specific year. Then we're giving you some guidance. We are giving you action plan based on the goal that you want to achieve. You want to lose weight, or you want to sleep better, or you want to de-stress. And all of the recommendations are again based on a personalized science-backed recommendation that guide you on what to do and why. And last but not least, we are giving you some behavioral tools in order to keep you in this path. So we are giving you a daily pro tip. For example, if your deep sleep is low, we can give you a tip a day later that say, don't worry about your deep sleep. Last night was bad. We will help you tonight to sleep better because we will recommend you to do X or Y at this specific time. We're also having a check-in and a real-time insight to track your progress. And as you can see, it's a circle. So we really see InstaTracker as a lifelong endeavor. It's not like a bullet, a one-shot intervention. It's something that you need to do and continue to doing in order to optimize your health and wellness and hopefully live longer, better life. As I said, we are the only company in the world that deliver true personalization. We give you a very deep analysis based on 12 plus years of R&D. We are combining blood, DNA, fitness tracker, and self-reporting data. We are collecting more than 200 unique data points about you. We have a proprietary AI engine, that developed by our science team. And all of that back on thousands and thousands of peer-reviewed scientific publication. And in our database, we have around 4,000 different recommendations that we are bubbling up for specific user based on his age, gender, ethnicity, what he likes to eat, what is the level of his blood biomarkers, what is DNA saying, and what is the fitness tracker is saying. Here is a nice illustration that shows what we are trying to do. So basically, envision yourself riding on the bike at night, and you have a headlight that basically showing you exactly what's happening in front of you. So that's what Instant Tracker is doing, because theoretically you can go left, right, up, down, back. But we are showing you a very precise path of what should you do in order to live longer, better life. As I said, we are a science-backed company, science first. So you can see here a few of maybe the best scientists that we have here in Boston and around. For example, I assume that some of you know Professor David Sinclair from Harvard Medical School. He is one of the leaders in aging research. Lenny Garante is another leader in aging research. And we have a few leaders from Tufts and so on. And the question is, the proof is in. And we have a few proof that show that indeed our platform is working. One of them is a peer-reviewed scientific publication that we published in 2018. We looked at the cohort of 1,000 users, and we compared the level of their blood biomarkers from baseline to follow-up, following an Instant Tracker recommendations. So if you think about it, this cohort received 525 different recommendations. But if you look at a specific recommendation, most of them were selected only by 1 or 2 different people. But then when we combine the cohort together and look at the level of specific blood biomarkers from baseline to follow-up, we have seen a significant improvement in most of those blood biomarkers. We also appear in a lot of the normal press, such as the CNN, Wired, and other. And we have a very strong community of active people that are using Instant Tracker. And as I said, the company is seeing a very strong growth in the last year or so. Basically, join us to help people everywhere add years to their life and life to their years. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Gil. This is very inspiring. Thank you for the presentation. Before we jump to questions from the audience, I have actually the same question that we asked Komri regarding engagement. Now that you have recommendations to the user, what is the best to do in order to improve their life? How do you make sure that they will adhere and engage that and adopt those recommendations?
Yeah, it's a very good question, and there is no one silver bullet. Each person is different. Some people like to feel a lot of information. They're using app like MyFitnessPal, and every time that they eat something, they fill it in. That's a very small minority of the population. Some are like you to tell them what to do, and then they are doing it. Some are of our users, and I've said that it's a few 10% or more of our users are checking in every day. Some are like to receive some pro tips. So we are having a lot of different weapons to make them more engaged. I think that a big revolution for us was the connection to the fitness tracker, because the fitness tracker actually give you a check-in, what I call automatic check-in. Because if you need, for example, to sleep more than X hours a night, you don't need to check in for that. I know that you've done it because your Fitbit is in your hand. Or if you need to exercise a specific kind of exercise for a specific time, again, we can have it. So I would say it's not a simple solution. It's a mix of a lot of solutions that are helping us to increase the engagement.
Yeah, thank you, Gil, for the comprehensive answer. Makes totally sense. Let's see, before we jump to the next presentation, if we have more questions from the audience.
I believe Sagit raised a hand.
All right, Sagit, you're welcome. Sagit, you are on mute. We cannot hear you.
Thanks, sorry.
Yeah, no.
I had the same question that you had with the business model and the complementary product to the main product, which is the, the diagnosis and the personalized. First of all, I would love to check your product. It sounds like all of us need it, and it should be under preventative medicine. My question to you is a little bit different. Not really the business model, but how was it for you? What were your main challenges in transitioning from the academic world to the industry, and not only the industry, but really founding a company? Just, if you could highlight the major obstacles and solutions you found to it briefly.
Yeah. So it's I can talk about it for 5 days, but it wasn't easy because when you leave the academia to the industry, first of all, you don't know a lot about the industry and you don't know what you need to do. And I learned a lot, but by making mistakes. And I've been very persistent. I'm seeing some people in the past that I came to them and asked them to believe in me and invest in the company, and some of them done it and some of them haven't done it, and maybe they will do it in the future. I believe that every person that is a potential investor, and you need to treat him like that, even if it will take him 15 years to do that. So I think that it's basically at the beginning you are fighting against all the world, and then you're starting to assemble the team and raise some money and grow the company. And I think that now we are in a great situation. I think that we are one of the biggest wellness company in the world, and we are the very strong scientific company, and we are seeing a lot of traction all over. So you need to be bold, work hard, and if you believe in what you are doing, hopefully it will happen.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's inspiring. Thank you, Gil. I think that we have another question in the chat from Jennifer. If we can all see that, can you please address the recommendation for those who have not purchased long-term care insurance? They should not get DNA testing, as insurance companies could deny coverage or charge more.
Yeah, so first of all, the InstaTracker solution today is out of a pocket, okay? We decided not to deal with all those health insurance and all of that. I think that if you ask me, I think that the healthcare system in the US is really rotten. And I think that the change should come from the outside. We are now starting to look into that, and now we have some partnership with Blue Cross and Harvard Pilgrim and other. But I strongly believe that person need to have a skin in the game, and you need to invest some money. So just by not drinking your Starbucks coffee every day and saving the $150 a month, you can already join InstaTracker. You don't have to do everything for InstaTracker. So you can start with blood alone. You can do blood plus DNA or blood plus fitness tracker or any other combination. The resolution won't be a very high resolution. The resolution will be a bit lower.
Just to show you what this thing looks like as a homeware. So by coming here, by the way,
yeah, I think that if you can mute
release version, I'm going to show you what our new
it is Tzipora Cohen.
Yeah, it's coming from Tzipora. Tzipora, if you can mute, we can hear you. Maybe she doesn't hear us. Dan, do you have the option to mute? Oh, yeah. Now we got it. Okay, great.
Yeah. Okay, so that was my answer. Hopefully it makes sense.
Okay, thank you, Gil. And I think that we need to jump to our next part. So thank you for that. Like, I know Gil for a few years, but I didn't know that it started like 12 years ago. So you came along, like your age became much older, but your inner age became younger, right? Yeah.
Definitely.
You can check it in the app, probably.
It's backed by science.
Yeah. Certified. Okay, thank you, Gil. Now we can jump to Rachel. Yeah, Rachel, we can see your presentation, but I'm not sure if you're trying to speak because we cannot hear you.
Hi everybody. Now you
now
can hear me probably.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Great, thanks.
Very happy to be here today. My name is Rachel Yarkoni. I'm talking to you from Tel Aviv. Actually, I visited Boston 1 month ago and fell in love in the city as well. But it's good to be back home. My personal background lies in 20 years of corporates. This is the first time that I'm an entrepreneur. I started my journey in Belgium, Brussels, did consultancy work for the European Union and did consultancy for Nestle, fell in love with the food industry, and then came back to Israel, worked for Strauss, launched Activia, the non-product functional food, the first generation of food, then moved to Nestle in Israel. I was the CEO of the snacks division, so all the junk food like chips, pretzels, Bamba, Bisli, Shtuchim. I was responsible for that junk food. And my last position was VP Global Marketing and Communication at Tiva. Amir and I used to work for the same pharma company. And Tiva was actually in one of the challenging periods of the company.
Yes. Sorry, Rachel, but I think that Menachem, we can hear you. If you can mute, please. Yeah, now is it. Sorry, Rachel. Go ahead.
So my personal story was that I, suddenly felt the chronic stress that we all feel physically. I couldn't sleep at night. I wanted to find a solution for my chronic stress that will not come from drugs, because I learned that not only Bamba has some quality assurance problems. Do you know that drugs have it as well? And then I met Dr. Gil Vitos from the Technion. He told me all about adaptogens, which are botanic extracts, a research that he conducted with 5,000 patients. He's a brain researcher that demonstrated that it can affect their mood and cognitive response to stress. I understood that we have a strong IP. I decided to leave my corporate world and founded myair 2 years ago. So before we start, let's just jump for a 1-minute introduction movie to wake you up.
Stress, the global silent killer. It affects all of us in so many different ways. Daniel suffers from restlessness.
Oh, sorry.
Sarah from sleep disorders. Michael has difficulties concentrating, and Christine has low energy levels, while Dylan has muscle tension. In fact, 75% of the adult population in the US has reported suffering from stress in the past month, but it is senseless to offer the same solution to everyone. Well, luckily, we live in the age of big data, and through our research on stress, we were able to develop a patent-pending algorithm based on AI technology. We're myair, a functional foods company specializing in personal stress management, and we have some soothing news for you. From today, managing stress will be easier and even tasty. Imagine receiving a box to your doorstep every month, and in this box, you'll find a set of tasty and healthy bars made with a mixture of plant-based molecules, active terpenes, and superherbs, proven to reduce stress and tailored to your specific stress profile and levels. How can we tailor the ingredients to your profile? Physiological and psychological levels are monitored 24/7 through any smartwatch and are analyzed for a personalized match, adapting and verifying itself over time so that your personalized bars will always work for you. Starting today, it's actually possible. You can overcome stress effortlessly as part of your daily routine for a healthy lifestyle. And that's good news, because either you manage your stress or it will manage you. myair, stressless routine.
So actually, stress is the global silent killer. It's #6 killer factor in the world. Before COVID, the World Health Organization declared that chronic stress is the pandemic of our era. And then arrived another small pandemic, and stress levels are even higher. 75% of the population in the US declared that they suffer from stress, and it creates a burden on the economy of $300 billion. And I try to manage my stress through mindfulness and meditation, but I failed to maintain, stress management into my routine until I understood that if you want to change behavior, the best way to do it is to attach a new habit to a current habit that you really love to do. And there is one habit that we all love to do, which is, of course, eating. So at myair, we believe that our way to improve health is through personalized functional nutrition. We believe that we are what we eat. So imagine that once a month you get a box with these bars, very tasty, very healthy, clean label with functional plants proven to reduce stress and tailored to your specific stress effects and profile. So the science behind myair divided to two parts. We are a real food tech company. We have the science of the food formulation and the science of the tech, the personalization technology. So based on 5,000 patients in the Technion, the research that started our startup, we created formulations of super plants that are all natural, considered to be food, and they actually, the ingredients that reduce the stress. And the other part is a personalization mechanism. We built an algorithm with Professor Daniela Kofel from Berkeley. She is the Dean of the Biologic Faculty, a stress researcher within the last 20 years. And we deal with the problem that stress has many faces. Harvard Medical School already stated that. And we learned in a research that we conducted with Garmin that each one of us has two main stress effects. So for example, stress affects me mainly at night on my sleep and in the morning on my focus. But each one of our consumers have different two main stress effects. So how should we know what are they? So luckily we live in the age of big data. And through our patent pending algorithm, we source data from smartwatches like Garmin or Apple, and we combine the physiological data with psychological data because stress is a problem, a condition of mind and body. So you can go today to our website, do the questionnaire. Within 1-2 minutes, you will get the first answer. What are your two main stress effects? And then you can connect your wearable, and our algorithm will combine the psychological data with the physiological data and will give you every month the box that is relevant to you. We don't have millions of SKUs. We are a profitable company, so we tailor the mix of bars based on your personalized profile. We have more than 1,700 different mixes of products. We already sell in the US, so I invite you all to try and consume a stressless routine. Actually, I was sure that we were going to sell only in California, in New York, but I was surprised to discover that all across the US, we have happy consumers. We research ourselves to that, so we research our consumers as well. We discovered that 72% of them demonstrated stress reduction, and that correlates with the research that we conducted with Garmin themselves that proved that our solution reduced stress for 73% of users, with 84% of them that increased the sleep quality. And Garmin even bought our products to their employees. We conducted another research, and with Garmin, it was even a better research because all of Garmin employees have the watch. So we could compare their stress 1 year before myair and then what happened after myair, and 80% of them reduced stress. We are honored to have very good investors starting from Tel Aviv University and more, in partnership with Garmin, with the Technion, and with Tel Aviv University. And we invite you all to join our stressless revolution. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rachel. Yeah, I became relaxed just hearing you. So thank you for the great presentation. My other crime, other than my pharmaceutical background, so I'm also volunteering in MIT, providing mindfulness and yoga classes and meditation to release some stress from stress students. And definitely I can see how we can bring it also to them, so we can collaborate. And I can see other collaborations as well between the other companies today.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel, for that. Do we have some questions to Rachel before we jump to the our last part? Our last part for the last 10 minutes, we will spend some time for general questions to all of them. But before we jump there, do we have some specific question to Rachel?
Yes, I do. Rachel, are you selling? I'm assuming the consumer is your direct client. And are you going through distribution channels? Are you doing it online? Are you doing it in physical stores? What's the way you do it?
So our business model starts from B2C, direct to consumer, online from our website, because we use personalized data. Our users, our consumers connect their smartwatches, answer questionnaires because they feel they have benefit, because they gain something from it. And that's the first go-to market. And actually COVID, it's not politically correct to say, but COVID helped us because the e-commerce world is now booming from 10% last year to 30% this year in all fast-moving goods e-commerce channels, and it's going to grow more and more. So we are to use not to go to the supermarkets and less to spend our time, in cars and prefer the online buying. We have other collaborations. We sell our solution to corporates. One example is Garmin that I could share, but we have other corporates that want their employees to have a solution. And definitely now in COVID, that corporates wanted to find a solution to engage with consumers, to help them to manage their lifestyle, their wellness routine. So not just sending them, alcohol or whatever, or Zumba classes online. They send them our package, Garmin watch with myair bars, with all the insights that they get. And it's a good solution for corporations as well. And of course, in the future, fitness clubs, Pilates, whatever, all the wellness area is very relevant for us to partner with.
Thank you. And I believe there's a chat question for you as well.
Yeah, I can see a chat question from David, and then we have also a question from Yuval, right? So starting with David, how do you protect PHI? Yeah, same question that we asked Omri.
Yeah, so actually the same answer. We are all very regulated, GDPR, and Amir and myself, coming from Tiva, knows a lot about, data privacy. I must share that we live at the age that big data is the new currency. And all of us share probably most of our data and tracked all day long. I don't think that this is something that we can fight against it. I believe that if we can't beat them, let's join them and let's, have something from it. So we saw even in the pharmaceutical world that patients that gain something from it are willing to share all the data in the world. And you can, maybe even look at yourself now with the vaccine, at least in Israel, we were asked to share the information. And we all did because, we know that there is a benefit here. And we see that the engagement tool of questionnaires is a very strong tool. People really, really love to test themselves. We love to discover new things about ourselves and look at all the quizzes like test yourself, discover whatever. And people want you to be, to have more knowledge. All the quantified self movement is, growing.
Yeah, as Omri mentioned at the beginning, if we are willing to share our data to Facebook, why not do that to our own good?
Exactly. Sure. Not only for commercials and ads, let's benefit from it. And people are smart enough to understand that.
Yeah. Thank you, Rachel and David. Yuval?
So a couple of questions. One is, can you give us an idea what it tastes? And then how many calories are in each bar, and have you had any record of adverse effects, and how many people have tried it already?
Wonderful question. So we start from the beginning, coming from the food industry. You know, I started my journey 20 years ago when the food generation was all about taking out all the baddies, like less sugar, less oil. I had KPIs from Nestle every year. I reduced the amount of salt and oil in your bamba, and you didn't recognize that because taste is a must. All the added values that they bring, you know, would be nothing if the flavor wasn't be good enough. And you can try our bars yourself. We have 2 flavors now. One of them is dates, nuts, and super plant. That's it. Clean label, no added sugar, gluten-free, vegan, 95 calories. And the other bars is chocolate, cacao, oats, and cranberries with our super plants with 160 calories. Again, vegan, gluten-free, all the clean label, which is so important, natural ingredients as well. And no, we didn't had until today any feedback like we have in pharmacology, in pharma world, because the ingredients are food. It's not even dietary supplement. It's imagine that every day you extract from 10 plants like ginseng, hops, passion flower, valerian, and more, the formulation, and put it, you know, you could put it in a tea, you can drink it, or you can eat my bar and have it in it. And we developed a very specific process that preserve all the ingredients, and we have all, you know, the test labs to prove that. We are now launched, we haven't officially launched, but we have thousands of users in the US already. Actually, COVID pushed us to launch earlier than we expected. And we produce both in Israel and in the US. And for now, the feedback for Hamsa is amazing.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Rachel and Yuval. And now we can jump maybe to the last part. We don't have a lot of time, maybe just a few more questions, but we can leave this stage to you guys, either in the chat or speak out loud. Any general question which is relevant to what we heard today? Or it can be any comment or suggestion.
I have a question for Gil.
Yeah, thank you, Ivan. Go ahead.
So I have a question for Gil. You said before that you had the largest company, wellness company, and I wasn't sure what you meant by that. Or did I miss?
No. What I said that we have the larger database of data of blood, DNA, and fitness tracker together for healthy people, because most of those data come from a sick population. And I think that it's a very unique data set that help us to give a better recommendation for our users, but also help us to publish data and enrich the understanding of the humankind.
And how do people find out about you?
So we are mainly in e-commerce. So we have, as I said, we are around for long enough that people know about us. We have a good name. As we heard from myair, we also partner with Garmin and other companies. And we have a very good marketing team that doing a good job and bringing us customers.
Thank you.
Thank you, Yuval and Gil. And I think that we probably should end here, just to be careful for your time.
Hold on, I think Sagit has.
All right, we missed someone.
I believe
Sagit,
so.
I cannot see Sagit.
I was
here you are. Yeah.
there's any age limitation for the product of Gil and Rachel.
Yeah, for us is 18 and above.
Yeah, we didn't conducted any research below 18, so this is why it's the same for us.
And
Yet.
yeah, there's potential for kids.
Only after the research, definitely.
Yeah.
Thank you
But-
all. Been a
But this is not the
pleasure.
inner age. Yeah, thank you, Rachel, and Gil and Omri for the great presentation. And we probably should consider using your products, so you don't need to use my products. So I wish you all good luck, and thank you for joining us and giving back to Dan.
Well, the same thank you and have a great afternoon.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Ciao, bye-bye.
Thank you.
Dan,
Yes.
can you send me an email with a access information for each of these wonderful products, as well as a summary of what they are?
Absolutely. I'll send you also a link to the recording so you can re-listen to it if you want.
Okay.
I'll
All right.
send you.
Can I give you my email address?
I do have it. If you registered, I have it.
Okay. So I'm Shelley Buckler, so please send me that, Dan.
Yeah, sure, no problem
Very
at all.
exciting. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for joining me. Bye.
Bye-bye.